Hello, good evening here. Who is here in Brazil? Or good afternoon, good morning, whatever you are. Um, Welcome to our session of Out of the Box Developer. It is your weekly tech news, and also some good discussions we have here. So first, I want to say hello to my friends here. So let's start from you, Chila. How are you?
I am fine. And you, Hugo? Hello, Hugo, Tiago, and Igor, and
Nice.
everyone in the audience, of course. Good evening or good night almost here.
Yeah, it's especially for you, right? You're in Switzerland.
Yes,
It's already what time it is
it
right
is
now for
11
you?
o'clock.
11 o'clock.
Yes.
Yeah, you're doing astonishing work being with us online till this time.
Mhm.
And I think Thiago is not so different, right? Thiago, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Little bit tired because here it's 10 p.m. But
10 p.m.
yeah, hello everyone. All fine.
Thanks to be here, man. As well. And you, Igor, how are you doing? And where are you now?
Hi,
Right now, you are in a cool place.
hi guys. Yeah, you can see in my back here. I'm in New York. Just kidding. That's just my fake background. I'm in Brazil. It's 6 p.m. here. I
6
believe
p.m.
for
here.
you go too. Always a pleasure to be with you guys here. We have some interesting news and especially one getting fired for not moving your mouse. What? We'll go into
We're
it
gonna
in the next minutes.
we're gonna get there today, but first let's discuss a bit about other things. We bring some weekly news that we see it is interesting to share here. But before going ahead, let me say hello to Georgie. Hey, Georgie. Good to see you here. You said that you were unable to find me on. Oh, you were in person there in Florianopolis. Wow, that's. I'm sorry then. To we miss a great chance to meet in person. Will you be in São Paulo TDC? And while you reply to me, let's say hello to Miguel Junior. Hello, Miguel. How are you?
Hi,
Good to have you
Miguel.
here.
Hey,
Where are you
George.
talking
Hi,
from?
Miguel.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
so while you do please write your answers here. Let me say for everyone that's watching us, uh, we're gonna talk about some news that we find it's interesting, some discussions we're gonna go through. One of them we're gonna get to discuss more, and whatever you have, whatever you think about your opinion here, please write on the chat so we can discuss together and yeah, have great insights over these news. Oh, so you are from Florida. That's that's makes sense. You are in person there in the TDC. I hope
Yeah.
you can come here to São Paulo and so we can meet each other.
Yeah, much easier for him
Um,
that was in Floripa, right? Hopefully, I will be in the next
yes.
edition on Sao Paulo. So, all of you guys that are watching us, join us. We will be also having Thiago and Chila there too, right?
Oh, really?
Not this one. Who knows the next?
But you already have been coordinator on one of the tracks in TDC in some edition, right? You
I
Yes,
did it
heard about it.
in person as well.
in person once, yes. It's some
Oh,
time
in
ago.
person.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh,
Yeah, I heard about that, Chila. That was awesome, right? You
yeah.
traveled to
Yeah.
come to TDC. That was amazing.
Yes, amazing experience. So maybe it was not the last one, but let's see.
Oh, that's cool. George says, I will try to go TDC São Paulo. I already submit some talks. Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
That's
me
awesome,
too.
George. I hope. Yeah. I
Let's
hope.
talk in the same stage, George. Wait for it.
And Miguel answered here. He's from Jacareí, São Paulo. So great,
Yeah.
Miguel. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, so let's get started by talking some news, interesting news we had this week. Let me get the correct window here. I think this is this one. Sure. Okay, so let's start with this Wall Street Journal.
Oh,
Nvidia,
oh my.
yeah, they there was we have been following Nvidia for a while. We saw it uh, getting big and big for because of these AI stuffs. But now they are in a whole another level because they pass also the biggest companies in value, right? They became the most valuable company in the world, and not at least during this on this it can vary a lot, but during this news, when they read this news, they are they they get bigger than Microsoft and Apple. So well, that was amazing, and how it does. We can see how AIs really are impacting the industry in whole world, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We can see all these movements. The AI is being used even for marketing everywhere, even when that's not AI. But yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of big changes being done by AI. Uh, Even AI pen, that AI pen, that's just the marketing stuff. But we do have a lot of AI in everywhere. That's really impacting the market. Now we can see your screen, Hugo.
Oh, sorry, I haven't shared the screen, right? Okay, so this is the news from Wall Street Journal. Let me share here on the chat, so you can, if you want to go in the, oh, not here, it's here. If you want to go further, you can read it further. But yeah, since AI depends on these, at least these large language models or any big models, it depends on huge processing resources, and these GPUs are great to run those to train those neural networks and process all the data for to calculate the weights for them. Yeah, every industry needs to every company that wants to invest on this need one of huge GPUs that we never get access, but the big companies have access to that to train their models, right? Microsoft, Apple are creating their own model X, or the Twitter from Elon Musk, and we have the OpenAI, we have Google, we have all other players on this boat, right? So I think it was expected that it rise. I don't know if you are. So I think one question I put here on the for you that is watching us. I don't know if you believe that this is if you are optimistic or pessimistic well, related to regarding to this rise of the GPUs, right?
Yeah,
So
one
well,
thing that is clear for us all is that you need to know how to deal with AI. If you're a developer, if you're a designer, you need to know how to use the tools that empowers you, the tools that helps you be more productive. You have all these AI stuff going on, don't be afraid that AI is gonna take your job away. No, instead, learn how to put AI to work for you, and that's not just for be moving your mouse, faking that you're working. We will get into that news. We are talking about having AI to be more productive. Most of us are software engineers that are watching here. You learn how to use Copilot, learn how to use another large language models that you can have running in your local machine that can be your assistant if you don't want to pay for Copilot or for any other. And even if you don't want to go off the zip, just start asking, even if with ChatGPT. Most of us here started with that, and then we moved to deeper levels of code completion systems. But yeah, AI, use it. Don't look too much pessimist on that. That's my advice for all of you. We need to learn how to put this thing working for us instead of against us.
Great. And let's move forward here. So, yeah, unfortunately, it does. I don't know if it was this week, but we got lots of AI news to be aware. But if you are a developer, you should be aware of what is happening on this AI field. It's good at least to understand, to be following up the news. And another big news is regarding to the Ilya Sutskever. I believe it says, I believe it's the name, how we spell the name. But he is also he is the main character behind OpenAI. He's the main scientist behind OpenAI and made things happen there. And he had lots of uh, how can I say? I remember the word threat in Portuguese, but it's they had a lot of troubles with Sam Altman, who was the CEO at the time, and now he left OpenAI in the end and created his own startup that is regarding to the safe superintelligence. He called it safe superintelligence. So he was always talking about these ethical things regarding to the AI usage and the data usage for to train those AIs. And if he left, it is something interesting. We can say that, oh, that's something wrong there, and he left and he started a new company that addresses exactly things regarding to this topic. So yeah, many things put into gray clouds, right? behind for OpenAI. But yeah, that was an interesting one, and for you that is developer and you watching for something that will grow in the next years, probably safety and overdose models would be something rising more and more, because it doesn't matter if it does bring value, but if it puts in risk the company, the people, it will be a high risk for your business as well, right? What do you think about that?
Yeah. Yeah, you go. You that are our AI guy. Do you know if we already had any data leak with AI since they concentrate so much data? Do you know anything about that?
Oh, uh, in the very beginning, we had lots of these leaking happens. We had also people that got Windows product key from these models, right? So they
Oh,
asked it, and it shared some keys, and they addressed it really quick. But
yeah,
yeah, we have the risk over those trained data. So there's the first concerns for most of the companies. But one thing it's important, these models just learn from when they are trained. So
mm,
the company that runs the training, they are responsible for those data being used or not. And yeah, if you are using some of those services, you have to read that huge term of usage that we never read, and before agree, you have to take do special aware, especially when it is free service, right? It is
Yeah.
not free. They are taking your data actually. Everything that
Yeah.
you talk with the chat to use in the future training. So yeah, that's a real deal for most of businesses.
Yeah,
So
especially if you're assigning the name of a company, right? So this person probably will read that very in detail, I believe. I was mentioning about the data leak because if you see, India is creating a new company out of OpenAI that is focused mainly on security, on safe and powerful
yeah.
AI system. It's not saying that its AI will be the most intelligent ever, but will be the most safe one. Maybe it was some
Mhm.
concerns about all of the rush of the AI movement, and he decided to move out to a new company and create something that here you can put your data safely. Trust us. Well, that's his market and on
Yeah.
his product, right?
But most there are a lot of when we see services from those big companies like Microsoft, you can use the Azure OpenAI. You have Cohere, Anthropic. Most of them, when you are going enterprise, you have these kind of services. That is, they will be in the contract. They say that they won't use your data, so you can. It is private, and you don't need to worry about that. And it is
Mhm.
as any other API contract. It does work the same. You are relying on the other side company commitment to not use data in the wrong way, right?
Yeah,
But yeah,
right.
that's other stuffs regarding to inside the model, how we train, how it will be. We have lots of challenges regarding to being ethical, being not biased, and so on. So that's a lot of discussions regarding to that. And we're gonna be going deep and deep, and it's really complex to address all of topics regarding to that. Um,
Absolutely. Chila, are you going to say something, Chila?
No, I just a last comment on AI stuff. You know, there is a new model from Claude Sonnet I wanted to mention that it
Oh,
came
okay.
out, and maybe one more model you can uh, actually try how it works. So the article says that it should be better than GPT 4.0. But you know, it's always dependent on the benchmark, how you are measuring things. And you never know, you cannot compare always two models the same way. So it might be true or might not be true, but it's changing anyway or every day. So, but I think it's a very interesting candidate to try it.
yeah, it came to compete with GPT Omni, right? For Omni, that is the latest version from OpenAI, and yeah, as I said, they are saying that they are much better than all the models, or most of the time is better than and then all the models that is available today in the market. And Anthropic has been around since the beginning of these uh, large language model stuffs. And yeah, it is interesting to see that we have more options. And yeah, we it's interesting that we are seeing this evolution or releases of new models really fast. But now we can also say that they are start to reach some challenges to evolve more. The models I see. that we have the GPT-4 Omni, and looks like for the next one it's more challenging to have the same boon of something that how can I say that that brings some new breaking news regarding to these models. Uh,
Yeah, but we could say that they reach a certain level of maturity, and now the real challenge is that differentiates then starts to show, right, Hugo?
yeah.
And I've heard awesome stuff about this Claw One, one of the most powerful AI models so far. I didn't had the chance to
So far,
test it, but what I've heard, it seems well promising about it.
yeah. Unfortunately, we for us, Igor and me, we won't have access because Anthropic doesn't give access for Brazil, at least until now. So we don't have access to. Even if you
Yeah.
create account, you can't use their service. I think that you can't even create the account. I tried it before, and not so long, and yeah,
But we
we
will need
still
to
don't have
have
access.
your experience, Sila and Tiago. So we will bring
Oh yeah,
your
that would be
response,
great.
Claude.
If you have any chance to use Claude and compare with OpenAI's ChatGPT, it would be interesting too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good point.
So we have one member here that just joined us, and let me call him here. So let's say hello to Bruno. Hey Bruno, how are you? Good to have you here.
Hey, hello everyone. Good to have you here. Hey Tila, hey Thiago, hey Hugo, hey Igor. Good to have you. Good to be here. Good. Hello everyone.
So we are just talking about some news that we got during the week and would be interesting to share to everyone here. Most of them, all of them, is regarding to AI. I think it was difficult to change a bit the topic, but next time we will do better work to actually vary a bit, diversify a bit the news. But it's important to every developer, if you're a developer that want to be updated, that AI is a hot topic. We can't go against the world. Okay, so George just said here, is it the destruction derby of the LLM models? I'm not. I don't know if I got your message, George. Can you explain a bit more?
Maybe the Destruction Derby, he refers to that game in the past where you destroy all the cars, so
Ah, okay.
LLM's models starts to destroy each other now.
Ah,
Which
yeah,
one
yeah.
is most powerful?
Stays
And Claude
on the top.
is getting
Yeah,
stronger now.
those big companies, all of them are in this race, right? Um, at least by now we are just the users and we can okay. It's regarding to AI has news every week. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, let's go with to the news. So that was the news that actually gave the title for the session today that we want to talk about that we see recently, and it's also maybe a good thing to discuss here. But we see news regarding to Wells Fargo that fired some workers because they catch then simulating keyboard activities, and also we have other and also the not just the keyboard activity. I think the mouse mover too. So the same company, Wells Fargo, and and I didn't even know that we have mouse mover software to simulate the mouse movements. And yeah, that was a pretty interesting topic to bring today and start our discussions, because at least I haven't had an experience of my employers being tracking our work, our movement, our keyboard, our camera, or mouse. but that brings a lot of challenges, right? Let me just wrap up some points here so we can start discussing. But on the employer side, when we started all these remote things, I think it existed before remote things, but I think the concern raised when we got remote, because the trust, you don't see the people, so you don't have the trust, and you don't know if they are actually working or not. And we have also people that works for more than one company, and we don't know. And especially when we are remote, it's difficult to actually um, address it. And on the other side, also as a developer, that's really difficult to. We know that our work is not just something so operational, right? So repeatable. It's a lot of thinking, a lot of it's engineering stuff that we have to think, we have to lots of activities that is not just typing, that is not just typing on the keyboard or moving the mouse. Let me get some of opinions from my friends here. What do you think about that? What do you think about tracking the developers' keyboard and mouse for productivity?
I heard about that many time ago,
Who wanna
even
start?
before the pandemic.
Yeah, go ahead.
I heard about that even many times ago before the pandemic. This is how it was, the remote work for foreign countries. And for me, that was extremely invasive and nonsense to you cannot measure anyone's productive on how much this person type in the keyboard or how much it moves the its mouse. I don't know what these people did on Wells Fargo, but I probably they didn't had a specification of what they needed to deliver. So for me, in my opinion, they should have a way of measure your productive on what you deliver and not on how much do you type or how much you move your mouse. And even you mentioned about people that have two or three jobs. If this person is capable of delivering it and it's up to date to their work, good for him. It's kind of madness, but good for him. But yeah, but in my opinion, I don't know what these people did in Wells Fargo. What were their real work? Were they from IT or something? You read on the news?
So it's not that they are being they're being considered productive or not productive because of the miles, right? So this is just the way managers check if the people are actually at work, right,
Yeah.
and doing something, right? And so, and because a lot of the things that people do, it's very hard to measure results, right? So I mean, um, for especially for those big companies, there's a lot of people that don't do much, right? That there's nothing
Mhm.
they don't have a lot to do, and then basically, and you can see this when Elon Musk acquired Twitter, for example, that 80% of people left the company and the company still continue to work, right? So it means that each person, I'm not saying that they're not working, it's just that there's not a lot of things to do, right? And so basically, and a lot of companies are very inflated in number of employees. So then they're just checking if the employee is there or not, right? And so basically, what they discover probably, I didn't read the particular news, but what probably they discovered that the employees were not there, right? So they were using some kind of software just to simulate that they were they were working, and so and that's a problem. The more we grow on in terms of the information jobs, right? That all we do all day long is work in the computer, right? So then what we can we can be sitting down, working the computer, sitting down, playing games, right? And so, and in the end, we're doing the same thing basically, right? And so that's why several companies are doing this kind of things. I think it's very invasive. There are companies there are some consulting companies that will only pay you for the hours that you actually work. There are companies that actually take screenshots of your screen and take pictures of you, right? So if you get up to go in the restroom, for example, they stop the counter of how many hours you're working, and when you sit down back again. And so, yeah, and I think that's a lot of lack of trust, a lot of lack of what needs to be done, also, right? Because a lot of people don't. There's no clear things what they need to do, and so it's a it's crazy that we are using technology in a way to have this kind of controls. But if you think about it, there's lots of industries that use those kind of things for in person, right? So no, there's cameras making sure that you're doing things all the time and this kind of things. That's kind of crazy. We're just not used to see this in a trust-based environment like most software developers work at.
Yeah, totally agree. We're just changing the boss that looks over your shoulder to a digital version, right?
Yeah.
I just have to say sorry for people. I haven't realized I haven't shared the screen while I'm talking about the news. But this is the two news I got from the Wells Fargo. It is a financial industry that made this movement. And yeah, that's one interesting point that Bruno's bring here. It is this is not a software development company, right? It is a bit different. How can I say different jobs here? And I don't know what. I think the news also don't mention what kind of work those people that was fired was doing. And I don't know if it does it vary, does it changes the opinion regarding the type of jobs that we do here. I totally agree if when we do talk about software development, it is a bit more challenging. It's like measuring our productivity by line of code that we produce, and that's totally whoever developed or created write a software knows that the line of code is not so reliable measure for productivity. But I don't know if there is some work that makes sense this kind of action.
Yeah, but it existed, Hugo. I've saw companies that for software developers that they were measuring as much for the type that as much as the type like Bruno explained, and all that monitor, and even big companies. I will not mention names here. They did the same stuff in person, and then when these people go went to remote jobs, they try to convert that to the digital version. And if any of you guys that are watching us and you work in a place like this, run run. There are plenty of companies in the world, and you need to be in a place where they trust what you do and they want you to share your knowledge and to create together. If they are monitoring you, you're in the wrong place, terrible wrong place. I would refute any proposal, even if they paid me too much for having this invasion of privacy and monitoring, because that's not healthy. I don't see that's healthy at all, in my opinion.
Yes, I also think the
Let me
main.
just bring
Oh,
here George to first. No, go ahead.
no, go ahead, Hugo. You shouldn't
Sorry,
touch.
Chila. I I don't know if my connection today is have some delay, but yeah, let me bring here. So George Tavares just wrote here. Don't worry, Microsoft will embed an invasive tool like this by default. An AI tool to monitor you. Recall. It is. It does exist. I didn't hear about recall. Let me
Yeah,
check
you
here.
better use Linux or Mac. In my, using Microsoft, it's already invasive.
So Chila, can you please go ahead with your comments?
Yes, so in my opinion, the basic problem here is that the lack of trust in this whole history, that people are monitoring you, what you are doing, and I think it's a much better way if you can have another type of measure, like measuring your productivity in not line of code, because it does not mean quality, not necessarily, but maybe how much you commit, or how much you engage in your work. So there are other means how you can be and you can prove that you are productive or you are making things. And basically, if your job is done, then it's more worth than monitoring somebody. So it's also lack of trust, has something to do with the toxic working culture, what you want to avoid if it's possible.
Absolutely, Sila. Totally agree with you. I would even refute the commit version because I've worked with people that they were committing all the time
Mm-hmm.
just to I know that there was a board that the manager saw it, and the most they commit, the more these developers will be on the top of the board. So they were always committing all the time to see, my manager will see me on the top of the board, and there were commits that were no sense at all. But yeah, but the one that you mentioned, I liked engagement. The most people engage, even in discussions, in their calls, and not only on delivering their tasks. That's a good way of measure. It's a little bit more complex on how to measure it, but that's a meritocratic way, on my opinion.
Yeah, so a couple of things here. So first of all, yes, Recall is an AI tool from Microsoft that is in Windows that that takes snapshots from every 5 seconds, so you can recall what you did or things like that. I don't know exactly. And then there's an API that you can use. You can connect your application to it, so you can create applications that figure out what the user are doing. I don't know. So George, you was talking about something that really exists. um, but you mentioned something here, Igor, that I think is interesting, right? Is about, also Tila, that is, it's about how you can measure things, right? And I think that's one of the problems that managers have all the time. Managers try to measure, right? Try to measure what's going on, and sometimes measuring engagement, it's really hard. You don't actually have a tool that does that for you. You can't really, you guys talking about the committing to be on top of a dashboard. So so managers don't have those tools to actually know how much people engage it, right? And so companies will come up with this kind of solutions to say to managers, yes, now you can track how much people are doing, and companies will tell you things like, well, the more you work, the more you're going to show up. You're going to be better for you, because that's how we're going to promote you. That's how because then you're going to show that you're working well. And the problem with all those metrics, right, is that the things you guys are talking about is that the moment there is a metric, right, the moment there is a game, there's a way to beat the game, right? There's a way for you to use the metrics to your favor. And I think that's uh, I think Igor was the one that said, if you have something like this, run away. Right? And I totally agree with that. I personally would not work for a company like this, but I do understand that there are people that would prefer to work in a place where they can just sit down, do their work, and they don't have to be, kind of creating and telling their boss, I did this, I did this, I did this, right? So there is just by sitting down and doing their work, they're gonna get credit, they're gonna get paid for it, and so they don't have to worry too much about, right? And as we know, I think there are people out there that do require people to look over their shoulders and get them working, right? And I think that many times, when you have someone starting, for example, they might not be fully motivated to actually do the things, and they just kind of, they very easily going to get their cell phone and go do something else, right? And sometimes you need people that, I always remember, a good friend of mine. She's one of the main organizers, I mean, main celebrities on Campus Party, right? And she was telling me how amazing for her was for her to work at McDonald's, right? And she went on to, as a McDonald's work, she went on to be like, to receive several, like, employee of the month kind of things. And she said that she entered McDonald's as a teenager. She didn't have any responsibilities. She didn't have any worried about time, anything like this. But then she had to work on their system, right? Where she had, she was constantly monitored, constantly having to focus on doing things, all that. And so she left McDonald's as like as someone is able to work on different things, right? So, um, so I think that for each person, going to have to measure what kind of things do I need to keep me working and keep doing things, right? Because Hugo here as a manager, I'm sure you deal with a lot of the problems like this, right, Hugo?
Oh, sure. Yeah, those most, especially on software development field, having measures or bringing some numbers for something that is difficult to measure. It's challenge for every manager in this software industry. Of course, we haven't went through this kind of invasive actions,
Yes,
but
hopefully not, right? Otherwise, no one's going to work for you. But that's a different problem.
but yeah, it doesn't mean that there's no challenge for that. And we see that, of course, trust is something that is in the both. It just exists when we have in the both sides, right? Even if one side don't have the trust, we broke this relationship. And the same happens when we have to deal with lots of people, and we don't know everyone to have the same trust for everyone. So that's the challenge also. Also for employers to create this trust relationship. For when you have when we are talking in a small team, it's easier to create this engaging environment and so on. But when you have huge number of people, it's kind of different drivers that you need to actually understand the productivity and create this kind of relationship. That's other challenges on going on.
Yeah.
But and yeah, this I also agree that one of the things that we do most is to rely on the deliverables, right? So we can understand the productivity or things that the people are achieving. If you have a good way to actually measure the deliverables, it's it's something that helps a lot on this situation. At least for me, for my team, we try to work this way.
Right. Yeah, but
Yeah,
every time
something.
there's a game like this, there's a way to beat it, right? So you already talk about the GitHub. I remember in a project where people have to deliver the code, right? But there's another team that would have to deploy the code and run it and making sure it actually kind of put on the server and all that. So the developers would do that. They would just commit the code and say it's done, right? Because then whenever the other team was able to run it, and it's not going to work because there's nothing actually had it that was done. But then they would come back as a bug, right? Oh, it's not working, right? And so then oh, we are always on time. Now we're fixing bugs, right? So,
Yeah, and that's the that's the challenge, right? When we have these indicators, I know as KPIs, I see not just on the software development, many other industries. When you have a KPI, there's lots of people, lots of creative ways to to beat the KPI, right? Doing the actually we do focus more on the indicator than or the metric than the actual value that we are delivering, and that's the dangerous part, right? So we're gonna be as a business, as for the company, it will spend far more money and resources to and doing stuff that is not really the thing that we should be focusing to fix.
There's always something that helps. I don't know if that applies. How do you deal with your team about it, Hugo? But the communication between the managers and the team, the more you communicate, the more clear and honest on both sides, it usually helps to get a clear metric about if the team members are getting stuck on something, if they need help, if there's something pending, if they are expecting something from the manager. And there's also something about one-on-ones. One-on-ones, I don't know on your side. I've read about there are people that don't like one-on-one at all, and there are other managers that want to have one-on-ones every week. I've been on both sides. I don't see it depends much more on how the manager wants to relate with you. I had a good manager when I had weekly one-on-ones, and I had other managers that we had a one-on-one for a month, and he skipped three. So there was a lack of communication there. It helps. Communication is key, even between the team members. But for the manager that wants to have a good track on how things are going, but let's just keep ahead of. I'm not talking about micromanagement. Micromanagement is something that scares everyone. I've also had these people asking, "Hey, how's it going?" 2 hours later, "How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? We need to deliver it." No, man, we don't work like this. This is not KFC. We are not doing burgers. This is not pastelaria, how we say here in Brazil. We are creating systems. You need to calm down. If we need, especially when we are senior, you're not a junior. Maybe this kind of behavior is awesome for someone that is a junior, that it's learning and he needs assistance. That's great. But if you're a senior or even more than that, a principal, makes no sense to be pinging this person every time. A senior will reach out to you if he needs something, if he needs help. So there's this balance that needs to be careful between not communicating at all and asking too much and becoming a micromanagement. I believe that it changes when you're dealing with different profiles and different seniority. That's what I think. Communication is key on both scenarios. You just need to know how much you should do it.
I just want to drop some questions for our audience.
Mhm.
If you are hearing us and the discussion, what about you? What about your experience? Did you have any experience regarding to being tracked? I think this tracking it's kind of micromanagement in on steroids, right?
Right.
Tracking every
Absolutely.
event that we are we are doing, even the mouse events and the keyboard events. So if you have any experience, and please share here on the chat. We're gonna be enjoying the discussion. And
Yeah. Have anyone here in this group worked for a company that does that? Or have you ever worked for one of those pay per hour companies that does this kind of things? Any experience with that?
No, no.
okay,
When I heard about that, I quit my applications for that company. I will not even mention names, but no, I heard. Oh, they track everything. Okay, I don't want. Thank you. So makes no sense at all.
Yeah. Okay.
no, I haven't as well. I was trying to think, but yeah, no.
Not aware of it. Maybe if yes, then without my knowledge. I didn't.
Maybe, maybe, maybe because we always need to install a lot of stuff from the customer in a machine. So maybe they track something. My previous customer, they even control what I have installed in the machine, and he installed his versions of software. If I wanted to install something from App Store from Apple in the MacBook, no, you can't. Only what we have here. So maybe they were tracking more than I knew, but that was without my consentment.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm talking about more things that we know. But we all as developers, right? So, we are part of those metrics, right? So how many lines of code you did, all the GitHub repositories, the things that you're doing. And one interesting thing is that a lot of those metrics. I think there's a difference, right? So many of those metrics we're trying to assess if the person is being productive or not, but the metrics that actually work are the ones that are directly results of the people working, right? So if you're fixing bugs, for example, and then there's bugs, everything that happens, it goes into the issue tracker, for example, and then you're fixing bugs and this kind of things, and how much code the person has written, how many people how many people they're working in their team, how many people they are mentoring, results from customers. So what kind of metrics do you see that are valuable that you as a developer you would like to know? Because there's this maximum on in lots of areas, right, that says what's not measured is not doesn't improve, right? So what kind of metrics do you see as valuable for you at your work on your daily basis? What kind of metric would you like your company to be tracking about what you do, for example?
That's an interesting question, right, Bruno? Just put us to think about it.
Oh, well, one metric that is interesting to have, and not every project, but some of the projects here we do have is the amount of rework or we have during our project deliveries. So uh, because we do fix bugs, we've had the basic tracks of the bugs raised, the that comes from the customer, that is raised by the developers, and we are some of the projects are measuring how much of the same topic bugs are comes back. So we have this feeling of rework that the project have been raising, and that's a good measure because then we start to see if we are focusing our efforts on the right places of the application, or there's more critical thing that we have to be more careful and implement more different scenarios to address the issues. But the same way, I think one challenge here is to the manager, or the who is looking for these metrics, have to be mature enough to not mix the what is happening to direct decisions. It is much to be aware of the and take actions regarding to how to reduce this effect, instead of measuring individual productivity. I think that also very goes together with the philosophy of trying to fix the process instead of trying to find the trying to point uh, the person that is some person name. So I think that
Right.
that's and that needs some maturity on the management level. I think
Hmm.
uh, it's easier to point out someone. It's difficult to fix the process, right? And
Yeah.
for me, it's a manager's work to be aware of it.
Yeah, like we're doing here, right? It's much easier to criticize the managers that do this kind of things than it is to go and actually fix the problem,
Oh,
right?
perfect. Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, but that is true, right? It's I think that many even we understand that what's not measured is not doesn't improve, but when we start thinking about what would be would we measure, and it's hard. It's not easy to figure out what would we measure in terms of how we can improve things, right? So that's why sometimes it's a lot easier to be an employee of a company, for example, than it is to have your own company, right? Because in your own company you have to figure out those metrics yourself and do this kind of things, right? But yeah, but in the end, a lot of it has to do with what your end results and the goals that you have. And I think that's one of the things that we, as developers, as in our careers, we always have to think about what exactly do we want, right? Because sometimes, if you want, if what you want is to work for an international company, and you don't have to worry too much. They send you work, you sit down and you do the work, and you receive some money at the end of the month, and you can go do whatever you want, right? With that could be some that has benefits on that, right? But on the other hand, if you want to have a lot more fulfilling work, something that you really like to do, and you're interested and you see the growth, you might need to do other things, right, than just sit down and work, right? Because then you might need to find a company that trusts you, a company that allows you to be more independent, more autonomous, and autonomy requires you to be more responsible also, right? So there's a balance right there, right? So in less responsible jobs that all you do is sit down and work, then just the amount of hours that you're sitting down and work, that's the only thing that you're measuring. But in more autonomous positions, where you actually make decisions, you actually this it's you decide what's important thing to do, what's not important to do, then requires a level of trust, requires a level of responsibility, of other skills, because now you have to show yourself. Your boss needs to see what you're doing, even though there's nothing tracking you to do. So all of this is a balance, right? That we have to decide uh, what matters to us, what is the things that we want to do, and how we want to take this.
That makes total sense, Bruno. I totally agree with you. You just need to figure out where do you want to be and what makes sense for you. And maybe in returning to the news, maybe for the bank, Wells Fargo, they didn't have any other way of measuring these employees' productivity, so they were trying to track it in a way on how much these people interact with their machines. and that's from where they got these people installing this software to simulate their productivity instead of changing the process. What's going on that these people is all idle? They need work, they need goals, they need tasks, they need projects. I don't know how they're working inside of their company, but yeah, from what all we have talked here, uh, this is how they were measuring their productivity, on how much they move their mouse, instead of how much they are selling credit products, how much they are bringing new customers for the bank. I don't know, I'm just trying to put some of uh, goals that I do usually see into the banks. I've worked with software development for banks for many years, so I know a little bit how they work into a bank, and measuring the bank's employee for the movements of the mouse. That's not the way.
So, Thiago, Chila, I just want to give you room to comment here because we are close to reach the end of the session today. So, do you want to add something?
You can go first, Chila.
So I also think it's quite a difficult thing to measure productivity. There are pro and contra arguments. And there were also some discussions on the net, what I saw. And then one company, it was McKinsey, that said, okay, there are measures that you can measure productivity, and there were then other software developers or main software developers who were thinking in a reaction of that no, it is not working like that. So it's a difficult topic, I agree. And also with all those monitoring what you are doing, I'm thinking about if it's the same if you are in the office. So people are looking at your monitor, trying to figure out what you are doing, whether you are at work or doing something different. But it's the more analog version, and if you are remote, then it's more the digital version.
Yeah, because I think that the digital version, right, Tila. I mean, when you're at work, at least you can see the person, right? If there's a difficulty, if there's things that are not going, you can just walk to the person, talk to them, and it's many times it's hard to do this online.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even monitoring just to monitor, right? So you see you're waiting for something to be done, and you walk to the person, you can tell you what's going on. Can you need do you need help? Are you working on this or not? But if you're remote, right, you can't just see the person and say, hey, they're trying, right?
Yeah, that's sure. It's more difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even something that I remember when you told this, Silla, about looking at your monitor. And it is quite funny because I was working for a bank back then. Uh, I had some manager, let's put into quotes, that they looked at my monitor and he saw me studying AWS, cloud from Amazon. Of course, we all know it. Back some years ago, a lot of years ago, I would say, and reach out to me. Why are you studying at work? You need to work. But I told him, man, the bank uses AWS. The more I learn about this cloud and about its tools, the more we can use to our services. No, you cannot study during work. Okay, what are the tasks? No, you will receive your tasks. Okay, until I receive them, I will be shaping my axe. Like Abraham Lincoln says, if I had 8 hours in the day, I will be spending seven. I don't know, shaping my axe. I don't know if shaping is the exact word, he mentions. But when you just get a TRX, you just hit a single hit in the tree and it goes down. So knowledge matters, especially in software development and in the IT industry. Tiago, I want to hear you.
Okay, yeah, I do agree with you all. I think it depends. However, I think at least we all here do agree that this micro uh, tracking it's not very good. This tracking, this kind of thing, it's not good. At least it sounds at a not good environment. Maybe we all here agree with that. However, it will depend on again what you want. But and only taking uh, George's comments about AI and AI tool, and just doing a recap on what you are saying on the beginning. So we have this kind of tools. So maybe in the future we are going to have tools to fake job, to fake our job, or to do our job, and then we are going to have tools, AI tools, to maybe know if someone are using AI tools, and then on the end, NVIDIA will keep growing because they're using AI to fake our job, and we're using AI to know if you are faking our job, and then AI keep growing. This is the well. Yeah.
It's good point, Thiago bring here. Interesting. But yeah, I think another. Let's see. That maybe we can discuss on the next session this topic. Also, I also would like to drop something to think about if you think regarding to faking job or also working for other uh, different companies at the same time. Do you think it's what do you think regarding to that? Because the same, right? Regarding to trust, the other side also don't know if you are really committed or you're just jumping from one to another. And we know that that also happens. So yeah, let me just drop this and yeah, let the people here think about, and we can continue the discussion on the next session. So I want to thanks just regard to the time. I want to thanks everyone for joining the discussion. And if you enjoyed the topic, enjoyed the discussion, or if you want to hear more about something else, yeah, please put in a comment so we can see and also prepare something special for you. So thanks everyone. Thanks Chiva, thanks Thiago, thanks Igor, thanks Bruno for joining the session today. Do you want to say something there, Bruno? Yeah.
Yeah. So are we meeting next time that we meet? Is going to be a different day, right?
Yes, I was
Right.
forgetting that's important news. Yeah, we're gonna be changing our meeting, our sessions day. So next time, not the next week, but the next one after that, after the next week, we're gonna be here on Tuesday at the same time. Okay, so it will be a little shift here for because of the organization. And yeah, everyone wait for us, but not on Monday, but for the from the next session ahead, we're going to be meeting on Tuesday, every Tuesday at the same time. Okay, so thanks Bruno for reminding me.
And it's
And
not right. It's not every Tuesday, right? So it's every
oh
other Tuesday.
yes, every other Tuesday, every
Yeah.
how we can bi-week
No, no.
sessions.
Yeah. Every other way to say. So basically, so we're not gonna do next week, right? So that's gonna be the second. So it's gonna be on the other week. That's July 9, Tuesday at the same time that we always do here.
Perfect. Yes,
Yeah.
July 9. Okay, thanks. Thanks,
So
Bruno.
make your make your note and join us on July 9. And thank you guys for being all along with us until now in this live.
It's a cool discussion. So see you next. Bye bye,
See
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Take